You just need a little situation. So welcome to those of you who are here. I am Witch Naima, and I am here, baby. I am here to help magical melanin witches, healers, occultists, demonologists, alchemists come into full power and monetize the intelligence that's in their DNA so they can make more than enough money, be happy, and get yourself out of or avoid the misery that comes when you try your damnedest to not do the thing that you were born to do. That's why I'm here. And so let me just say hi, Haida, Nateru, Cam, who else is here? All right, so I'm not going to be talking a lot because I'm just not. I plan to be here maybe for about 20 minutes. I have some very important, well, one is very important at the end of today's broadcast, but I have a total of 3 announcements that will happen at the end of today's broadcast. Today's topic is how to overcome oppression from your mother so you can come into power. So I have a story that I'd like to share with you. It's a rite of passage. It's one of my own rites of passage, and you'll have to do something of your own version, or maybe exactly what it is that I'm talking about. This is all signature. So I think you're smart enough to know that not everything is for everybody. You take what works for you and you leave the rest. I feel like it's important for me to say this. So I've been around for a decade now in the transformation industry. So I've been making money, doing videos in the game for a decade. Okay, if you guys, for those of you who have gone through my YouTube channel, and I even have an old one from 2011 where I first started, and then that was like, anyway. So basically I have hundreds of videos on YouTube, and I've been at this for a long time. And so my way is very unorthodox. My way of coming into power, my way of coming to know, it's inappropriate by a lot of people's standards. It's filthy, it's wrong, it's bad, it's like, don't do that. It's, and I say this because in the Black world, the Christian world, I mean, which is not just Black, but, for most Black people, a lot of Black people, Christianity is the dominant religion. We're plagued by Christianity, and it's a lot of Black folks are just not going to come into power. A lot of people, right? But a lot of Black folks are not going to come into power. A lot of magical melanin witches have left Christianity, are leaving Christianity, and will leave Christianity. And everything, what I have come to know, okay, before I get into the story of this huge conversation with my mom that really catapulted me to more money than I'd ever made, and more power, and just more truth of who I am. Everything that is considered wrong and bad and inappropriate and just not okay, typically is where the power is. Like, that's just the way it is. So, for example, I did a power series, what was it, like 2 weeks or so ago, and one of the women in the live stream, she commented that, she'll see her dark self saying things, and she'll be like, "Oh, you rude," and like judging her dark self. And like, I'm not going to get into a whole discourse about what rude even means, but like, what does rude mean, right? And then when you are rude, what do you actually mean? What is it in response to? And so I say all this to say that if you're going to work with me and come into the community that I'm building, which is a paid community, which is a long-term community, which is nothing like this exists in the world, nothing, right? What I'm doing is I'm pioneering, me and the people who will be on my team are pioneering something that this is, we're going into all of it, the fear of being killed, sexual power, mental power. I mean, like, all the, the bad stuff that you're not supposed to do to come into power, we're doing it. And so I share that with you. So if you are serious, like, I think the people who are going to gain the greatest benefit from me are the ones who have already faced the door of suicide multiple times, who have already tried to do things the right way and be good, and right, already done that. you've already just tried different things to find your happiness and your success, and it just has not worked. It's actually made you worse off. You've fallen into deeper depression. You've come to like hate yourself and self-destruct, and and so yeah, there's just so much you're going to experience when you come into the community, and then what you're going to get here too, for those of you who are ready for it. What's up, Andra? So, rites of passage. So I have so many stories, and the one that I'm sharing with you happened in, what year was this? 2014. It was 2014. So in 2013, I fell into a big depression. I mean, like drinking myself to sleep, not showering for 3-4 days. Like it was super bad. And it was also the first year of my life where I seriously contemplated suicide. Like I was looking for cyanide. I mean, I've talked about this publicly countless times. And I was just like, I don't have any interest being on earth if I'm not gonna do what I came here to do. I'm just, I mean, what else is there? What am I gonna do? Just buy shit and like just fuck all day and travel and what that's it? Like what? And so I remember, so fast forward toward the end of the depression, it's a whole other rite of passage I could share with you. There's a lot, right? And I share this with you for your benefit so you could see that it's not a walk in the park, that you can do it, and that you will decide that you will take it to the next level. So during this deep, dark place in my life in 2013, the part of me that is extremely sexual started to wake up in a whole new way. Questions started to reveal themselves, answers started to reveal themselves. And this part of me that was sexual just like, whoosh, like it just it just got super big, right? And when I decided that I was going to come back into the industry, because I had quit my coaching business. I had been in the coaching space since 2011, and then in 2013, depression disappeared for a while. And when I made the very conscious choice, it was but like, I'm doing this. It wasn't like, well, let's see, I'm going to try, maybe. I made a very like demonic, declarative, this is it, I don't give a fuck, this is what's happening, right? And that's how you're going to have to decide to do the work that's in your DNA. That's what's going to get you to 6 figures, 7, whatever your number is. And even if money is not a priority for you, to be able to be the being, the fullness and full power that you are, without any of the like explaining yourself and watering yourself down and trying to be something you're not, and like all that like, and being like the fullness of who you are, like the demonic nature of you, which is in every human being, by the way, right? You're going to have to allow that to have supremacy in your life, in your way of being, and the way you navigate. Because we live in a very dense world where like you can get slapped around real easy if you are lightweight, okay? And so I made this demonic declarative decision that I was making money and service equally important. Prior to this, I was just a nice Black girl who wanted to help people and be good, and make sure you make that a priority, that you help people, because that's what you're here for. You're female, you have a pussy, and your job is to please everybody. Make sure everybody's happy. If you struggle to pay the rent, that comes with this game. And I said, like JC said, I wish for you 100 years of success, but it's my time. What? And that's exactly what I was on. And so I remember I made this decision. And I remember I decided also that I was going to allow my sexual self to have more space in my life and not have it in the back seat. Like we as women are conditioned to do, right? Be modest, keep your head down, keep your mouth closed. Meanwhile, people running all over us. We're not getting our dream fulfilled. Our pussies is dry. We mad. We resentful. We faking coming when we having sex with. Like, am I the only one who has been guilty of that? Before I go any further, what y'all got to say about what I've said so far in the comments? Let me hear what y'all got to say. And it looked like I'm gonna be past 20 minutes, not past 30. I'm gonna wait. And if I don't hear anything from anybody, I'm going to end today's live stream. What do you guys have to say about what I've said so far? Right. Right on, Cam. Right on, Andrew. Who else? One more. I don't even know what doubt really means. You have to define what doubt means, Hater. See, that's one of those things we'll get deeper into. People use these words like doubt. What does that even mean? Like if we were to get into that, you'll realize it's not even doubt, actually. So thank you guys for engaging. And I want to know if you hear what's up. So all this decision was made, right? A lot of heat was around this decision making. And so one of the things that I started to do to free myself, and keep in mind, the way you guys have me here on YouTube right now, there was nobody. There were no Black women who were talking sexually publicly. This was 2014. There were no Black women talking sexually. There was no Black women calling themselves witches in public, not to my knowledge. If they existed, it was not, I was not aware, all right? There was nobody talking about sex and blowjobs and, you know, just all the nuance of sex, sexual trauma, because I'm also someone who's experienced sexual trauma. And part of how I came to heal my own trauma was because I gauged in all the things that normal people do, and it didn't work. And so I was like, I got to figure this out. And so I engaged in a lot of not supposed to, unsafe things to heal myself. And so when I started to have this desire to free myself, I started writing, and I started writing in unfiltered ways. And when I say unfiltered, I mean unfiltered. You know, when we write, or when I write for the internet now, I reread it, right? I read it for grammatics. I read it to make sure it flows well. I read it to make sure it makes sense, right? And everybody who's writing for the internet to influence people, that's what we do. We edit, right? There was no editing in this writing. There was no editing. Maybe for some grammar, maybe, but like, right? So I would just allow myself to feel everything that I was feeling about my sexual self, about my history, about sexual memories that I had, and I would just write. I would just write. And then I would publish them on the internet. Now, I'm saying this all very quickly and very easily, but this was very difficult for me. And like I said in some of the marketing for today's show, I said one of my greatest fears is, what if my mom finds this? Like I was writing about getting fucked on the floor, sucking dick, you know, self-hate issues I had. Like I was everything. I was writing about it because the goal was not to appease other people or to protect my image or my reputation. The goal was to get free. That was it. That was it. And I had been in the dark long enough, and I had come up against that door of suicide so authentically enough where I was not going to let anything get in the way. Not fear of what people thought. That's why I say, in order for you to really benefit from what I'm doing, like beyond a YouTube video, I mean, like you coming into the community, meeting when we meet in person, which is going to be quite regular. And then also for the announcement that I'm going to give at the end of today's video, right? It's not going to come from you watching videos. It's going to come from you engaging in the practices deliberately, because you have had these horrible realities of lack, of unfulfillment, of being disrespected and allowing people to disrespect you because you actually don't respect yourself, not being able to make the money that you desire, that you know is for you. Like, is it only me? But like, even when you're broke, you're like, I'm everything. Like, even when I was broke and I was on my mother's couch and I had $7 to my name, I was like mad, because it's like, how do I, like somebody who's like amazing, like amazing is lightweight, but you, right? Someone who's profound and highly spiritually endowed, like why is this whole money thing such a struggle? Like why am I on my mother's couch? Like why am I poor? Like what is going on here, right? And you've done all the good things, you've done everything that pastor told you to do, right? That everybody is telling you to do on Instagram, and they preachy tone of voice. But really, are they really satisfied? Like really, right? Are you feeling that electricity in your life that comes with the truth, living the truth in your body? So you're only going to really benefit from me beyond a video, right? If you've already gone through some of what I talked about, and like long enough, right? Because sometimes you just got to struggle for hella long. Let me just, right? Sometimes you got, because before the situation with my mom, I had slept in my car building another company while I was living in Houston, Texas. So sometimes you just struggle a long time. But once you're done with that shit, like, especially as you get older and you're like, somebody about to die because we not doing this no more, you know? So that. And so I started writing. I was scared my mom was going to find it. Lo and behold, she found it. And let me just really paint this scene for you so you can recognize what a rite of passage feels like. Because rites of passage are oftentimes not pretty, especially not in the modern world, because we haven't been taken through them in a conscious, loving way typically. We weren't raised in a family that honored rites of passage and did it deliberately, like they do in Latin cultures with quinceañeras and other, you know, in the Jewish community with bar mitzvahs and this kind of a thing, right? So I was babysitting my niece and nephew at my sister's house. My sister and my mom were in the Bay Area. This was in California. And my sister, I was in Sacramento. My sister and my mom were in the Bay Area. So they were like about an hour and a half away. And this is like Sunday morning. And my sister just texts me and she's like, Mommy found your blog and she's going ape shit, bat shit, or something like that. She's going bat shit. Mommy found your blog. So instantly, like my heart is like, oh my God. 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 Right. So by this time I had already been writing for months and I had stopped writing and I was like, and then I started trying to remember like, what did I write? Like, oh my God. Then I started remembering what I wrote. I was like, oh my God, my mama. And I knew that my sister Brandy, she's like, and we're on our way back to the house. So here we go. And I remember being so afraid. And like in my mind, I remember being like, okay, so it's about to happen. Like this confrontation that I've been fearing is about to happen. And I remember I posted it on Facebook. Andrew, I don't know if you recall this post on Facebook, but I remember posting on Facebook. This was in 2014. I was like, my greatest fear has just come true. Fears coming true can be a very good thing. My greatest fear has come true. My mom has found my filthy blogs with all my sexual stuff in it. And she's about to be here at the house in like an hour. And when I tell you all the comments I had like over 100 likes, dozens of comments, people like cheering me on, right? Like, you can do it. Now must be the time. You got this. Da, 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 right? So my mom and my sister walk in the door. And I hear, first of all, I hear the car come up. It's like out of a movie, the whole scene of it. It's like, I'm just like, oh my God, this is really about to happen. So they walk in the door. My mom doesn't know that I know that she found the blog, right? Because only my sister texts me. So they walk in the door and they had bags. And my mom was acting real cool, right? And I'm like, okay, so I know she about to come with it. Something's going on here, right? So they go in the kitchen. Now the kitchen and the living room, like I'm here in the living room, the kitchen is right there, and they go in the kitchen, and my mom is like making a little small talk, and I'm like, okay, so what's going on? It's about to come. Okay, I see she handling this a certain kind of way. So she's in the kitchen. I'm sitting on the couch just waiting for it to happen. And she says from the kitchen without coming, because there's a doorway. She says from the kitchen where I can hear her, but I can't see her. She says in a very like Black mama tone, Naima, I found your blog. And it just silence. My sister was silent. I was silent too. Then she came to the kitchen doorway and she stood there like, y'all know, right? Naima, I found your blog. I'm silent. I'm like, right, like, I really don't even know what to do, right? And she just goes in on me. You're embarrassing the family. What are you doing? I mean, she's just on it, and she starts yelling. My sister, my niece and my nephew come to the front because they hear my mom yelling. My sister tells them, go back, go get out of here, go in the room. You need to take that down. I've been telling people about you. Remember, I had reemerged in my business, and I told my mom I was reemerged. And she just landed in there. I'm ashamed of you. Oh God, I'm ashamed of you. You need to take that down. I mean, like, she's just really laying it in there, right? You have your degree. Why are you even doing this? Right? And she just, I'm not saying anything. Frankly, I don't even know what to say. And I'm just, emotion is building higher than I've ever felt before, particularly in conversation with my mother. And she's standing there waiting for me to respond. And she's just like, and so what are you going to do about, like, endlessly, right? And I just remember in that moment feeling so calm, you guys, I'm telling you. And this is what a rite of passage looks like. It's hot. It's emotionally hot. It's hot in your body. I felt heat in my body. I felt fear. I felt excitement. I felt a level of like, yes, too, in there. If you can stay in there without running away, because the sensation just feels so much, and you just stay in there, particularly when it's backed by a decision. Like, if you just get hit with it randomly, sometimes you get thrown off. But if you come face to face with the right, and a decision has been made prior to, that's what increases your chances of successfully moving through the right to the power that you're looking for to get the result that you want, okay? And so with all that I had in me right there at that time, with that decision that I made, I just looked at her and I was like, oh, this is who I am. And it's so amazing. I have told this story at least 15 times, at least. Look at how I'm crying. I would think that I wouldn't cry anymore. This is old. This happened in 2014. And the reason why it still touches me like this is because it's true. It is true for so many women. With your mom, your husband, friends, other people in your life who you're just so scared that they're going to make you wrong and bad, that you're an embarrassment, you're an shame, you don't belong to this family, you don't belong to this peer group, you don't belong here, you dirty, filthy, ugly, nasty, get the fuck out, right? Like, we're so scared that we're going to get this confrontation that's going to annihilate us forever. And so this is what happened. And I was like, Mom, this is who I am. And I wasn't loud and like, right? And this is after her being loud. You would think my response would be like, well, I'm not. No, it was none of that. It was like, Mom, this is who I am. Do you know my mom turned around like nothing happened and went into the kitchen? And when I tell you, I felt my power swell right there in that moment. Now, that's just one piece of it. Here is the icing on the cake. In 2014, I started a radio show called Unapologetic Womanhood. Andrew, I don't know if you remember this, but I started a radio show called Unapologetic Womanhood. And I ended up having my mom as a guest on my radio show. And we talked about that moment when she confronted me about my blog. And keep in mind, my mom is a Jehovah's Witness. So she is acutely discreet. I mean, my mom is like, she didn't even talk to us about sex coming up. Like, that's the kind of mom my mom is. So for her to come across this was astounding and like hugely disruptive for her. So for her to come on my show, and let me tell you what she said on my show. I'm telling you, this is why I'm so convinced that you have to let people respond to your power and let them deal with it. She came onto my show and she said to all the women on my show, she said, be who you are. Your parents will be okay. Verbatim, that's what she said. I was so moved by that I cut that clip and shared it all over the internet to free other women. Be who you are, your parents will be okay. You have to let people get mad with you. You have to let people cut you off. You have to let people call you crazy, you got problems, you gonna fail, this is a mistake, who do you think? Like, you have to let people respond to you in that way, and you have to stand in who you are, and you got to keep going. And guess what? You're gonna have to do this over and over and over and over again if you are serious about living the life of your dreams, serious about living in another country, like I'm living here in Medellin. If you're serious about making good money in your business, even if good money to you is just $5,000 a month, selling your transformational services online, if you're going to be happy with who you are when the lights are out and nobody is around, thoroughly happy with your own company, not worrying about money, knowing you have the skill to produce money online and then disappearing if you want to. Like, I haven't really been active. I just started getting active like 2 months ago, something like that. And I've been like MIA since like November of last year, because I have this skill. Once you learn these skills and you come into full power, you're unfuckwithable. You're completely unfuckwithable. So here I am. I'm going so much over time, even with me trying to fast talk and hurry up. So I'm getting ready to go into announcements, and I'm looking at these comments. Never gets old. Yeah, because it's so true. Questions? Any questions? I'm so hot. And we have jungle climate here, so it's hot all the time. So not only is it hot from the climate, but I'm hot from talking about hot rites of passage. So let me take the time to talk about the community. So what you're going to have to do, right? And when I say have to, I mean you choose, right? Because ultimately you don't have to do anything. But ultimately what I'm inviting you to choose is getting into the practice of engaging with high sensation in your body, okay? That's what we're going to do inside the community. So the community, wait, first of all, Andra is my top commenter. She ain't Black. And where the rest of y'all at? Hey, right on, Andra. Man, you've been on a path, man. I've seen you on Facebook. You have been on a path. You've been around. So I'm saying, man, sometimes you just got to go through shit for a while. What the rest of y'all got to say? And let me ask you this. So I'm going to be here on Wednesday. Like, is there something that I've talked about today that you would like for me to expound upon, or another topic that's come up in your mind that you feel like you would like to hear me discuss? Because ultimately, what I want for you is for you to come inside the community. So the doors of the community are going to open on, I think it's June 21st. Let me open on my calendar real quick. Hold on one second. It's a Monday. I know that. Yes, June 21st. June 21st, doors open to come inside the community. And what it is it's for magical melanin witches, healers, alchemists, demonologists, healers, and the like, who are what I've described here, and what I will continue to describe if it's not clear enough. Who, like, what we're doing, gosh, ooh, when you know, you know. When you know it's for you, it's for you. I have some very large, and I think hard to really take on as serious for a lot of people because they're so large. The way I see Magical Melanin Witches, I see us extremely profoundly, and I know most of us do not see ourselves in that way. So I'm very mindful of the language that I'm using. And so when I talk about you coming inside the community and engaging in the activities that I'll be giving you that are going to allow you to practice having high sensation in your body and coming to terms with it and wielding it, it's because to be who you, right? To have the power in you, no matter how dormant it is, no matter how much you know, leaked it or given it away or, you know, tried to lie to yourself or dumb yourself down, it's still there. And as one of my favorite people, astrologist Monique Rufin says, Black people, we're so powerful, we can't even stand it. Right? And so the cognitive dissonance is in reverse, where you're so profound, and yet we live in a world that has so much imagery that says that we're not profound. And so to engage in practices that bring out the truth in you, it's very disorienting. Let me just tell it for what it is. It's disorienting. You're going to be required to engage with your subconscious and your fears. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. And that's why most of us don't do it, right? If we do it at all. And most of us don't last long when we try to do it by ourselves, because right? You have to be highly exceptional. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you have to be highly exceptional, know you're highly exceptional, and behave like you're highly exceptional to be able to actually do that over the long term, to actually be able to engage in the profound sensation and transformation of the body and the mind while engaging in all of these, walking through all these doors that have X signs on them, right? So when you start to engage with your sexual self, when you start to engage with money and you decide you're going to start to listen to that deep voice that has been talking to you for years that you have ignored, or when you have an instruction to do something that seems bigger than you, right? And you start taking action on that. And then all of these parts of yourself that you've run from or have been unwilling to deal with or unable to deal with, right? Most people are not, you cannot, you can be an exception, but most people are not going to do that. It's hard. I mean, like, it's hard, bottom line. And so the community is here to reduce how hard it is. First of all, to make it fun, right? And to create a reality that this world has not seen. What has never existed on planet Earth, what humanity has never seen, can happen tomorrow, and you can be the cause. Like, I know that. And too many of us are way off the mark, way off the mark. And so I'm inviting you to choose to individuate. I'm inviting you to choose hard. I'm inviting you to welcome the struggle. Why? So you can have what you really want. What you really want. I'm talking about at a heart level, right? So you can live where you really want to live. So you can have the amount of money that you really want to have. So you can have the people in your life that you really want to have. Right? Like, fill in the blank for what it is that you really after. And this is the only place in the world where the conditions are ripe and you have permission to be arrogant. And I'm saying arrogant as a means of offense, because as you start to come into power, that's what people are going to call you. Where you have permission to claim large amounts of money, where you have permission to be who you actually are, not trying to be something because you want me to like you. Like, it's okay if I don't like you. It's okay if other people don't like you. It's okay if we disagree. We are, anyway, I'm not going to keep going into that. I'm going to go into the announcements. All right, let me see. Are there any questions? Let me go to I am at heart. How to get over not believing in your personal power. What are the best tools for shadow work? Okay, so first, how to get over not believing in your personal power. How to get over not believing in your personal power. I don't have an answer for that. I think this channel might be too much for you right now. Or the group might be too much for you right now. You might need to go, maybe go look at some old videos because that question, how to get over not believing in your, I don't know, how to, right? Because you have it, right? So if you don't believe it, it's kind of like, right? You need to go like, either go hurt some more, right? And then start asking questions out loud. Or go look at some old videos, because this is not a, you have the personal power. Like if you don't believe it, that's something else. Yeah, that's above me. Nintendo said, what are the best tools for shadow work? So there's this witch, her name is Carolyn Elliott. She has a book called Existential Kink. I recommend her book, right? She's a proclaimed witch. She's a 7-figure witch. She's white, but she's amazing. And she has a book called Existential Kink. And in that book, she gives you exercises to do. She talks about shadow integration. And so she has exercises for you to do, which are part of what it is that I'm talking about here, where you start to enjoy the sensation of wrong and bad, essentially. Enjoy the sensation of wrong and bad. Because right now, anything that feels bad to a person, they want to stay away from. Anything that feels wrong, you want to stay away from. When actually you want to welcome that and allow yourself to be okay with that. So I recommend that book. What are some other tools for shadow integration? My community, which opens up June 21st. So about that, let me move on to the announcements now. If somebody else has questions or comments, you can go ahead and put that in. Another thing I feel like I should say, because of Hayda's question, is I'm talking to 2 witches when I'm talking. You're either like Andra, as far as I'm concerned, you're advanced, okay? When I say you're advanced, I mean, you're well aware of what it is that I'm talking about. You've experienced it. You're already making money in your transformational business. You don't believe you're powerful. You know you're powerful, right? You don't, even if like fear and stuff creeps up, it's not your guiding light. It doesn't like govern your life. Like fear doesn't govern your decision-making, right? And you're more emotionally aware and astute and conscious, right? So I'm talking to you as a witch, right? And then the other witch I'm talking to is just less advanced. Like you're not a baby witch, right? But you're not advanced either, all right? So you have to decide where you are on that spectrum. And so if you're a baby witch, you're probably saying things like that, like how to get over not believing in your personal power. Like that's a baby witch kind of question. Or, just like that kind of stuff that's like still, and there's nothing wrong with that, Hayda. Let me be clear that there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I remember, like, even the whole fear that my mom will find my blog, or just like, I used to be afraid that people would call me greedy. I remember when I wanted to start charging $10,000 for my coaching packages, I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm greedy. Like, that's like baby witch kind of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that the people who I'm best made for, who get the most benefit from me, are already at some kind of an advance. I'm not saying super advanced, but like what I've already described here, So June 1st, doors are going to open for my community. It's a year long. Details will come out then, but essentially it's helping you come into full power, like the real kind, like not like, performance for other people and like getting on YouTube and talking loud, but you're not really being and having what it is that you really desire, but like genuinely, right? Where you become your own center of gravity, where you are a force of nature, where you do have people who don't like you, disrespectful, like original ideas start to really come through you because you're being so authentic, and then you're able to wield your power to have the things that you really desire. Okay, enough. All right, so that's actually one of the announcements. The other announcements are, so the big one I'm going to say for last. Tomorrow I have a photo shoot here in Medellin. And if you'd like behind the scenes of my photo shoot, and I love photo shoots because they're fun, they allow me to be expressive and colorful and all that, that's tomorrow. So if you'd like to see like behind the scenes videos and images, I'm going to be sharing them inside of my Instagram story. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, you want to go find me on @Naima Singletary. Okay, @Naima Singletary. So that's tomorrow. I'm going to be sharing behind the scenes. I told you that for this week and next week, I'm going to be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and only for this week and next week to gain favor from YouTube. I received some consultation that it would benefit me for, to go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's that. But after next week, I'll be going live only on Mondays, unless I get inspired to do more. But it'll be just every Monday at the same time. All right. And then the final announcement. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is major. I am going on tour to connect with Magical Melanin Witches. And my first stop is Atlanta, Georgia at the end of July. What? Yes. So there's going to be 6 cities. The first 3 cities are Atlanta, New York, and Orlando. And then we'll announce the rest later. But go ahead and make a mental note. More details will be coming soon, obviously. But for now, just know my first stop is in Atlanta at the end of July. And this is for Magical Melanin Witches who have felt so alone on this path, would like to meet others, and ultimately would like to conjure the power that can only be conjured when we gather. So for those of you who have already been casting spells, you have been, doing what you do to manifest, right? To create and alter your reality. You've done quite a bit alone, right? You've seen how much you can do alone, right? And for those of us who have pushed and pushed and pushed our boundaries and gone further, we also see our limitations in working alone. And so this gathering in person is for those who are ready to conjure the power that can never be conjured alone. Ready to conjure the power with other magical melanin magicians, okay? Magicians and witches. Let me see. Anything else for me to get at? Oh, yeah. Yes, okay. Wonderful. All right, that's a wrap. Man, I was here much longer than I anticipated. But this was a joy. So I'm back on YouTube. Oh, please share this. That's another thing. Hit subscribe, hit the like on this video, please. Okay, to help with the algorithm and to get this up and to, have the channel. Because, right, do you guys know any magical melanin witches who are serious, who are out there, who are fearless, who are unapologetic, who are gathering us, who are providing the tools and the resources, who are making it okay to make large amounts of money or whatever the amount? So if you'd like to see more of this, click the like and subscribe button, and please click the share and share this video on your social networks. All right, I'm out of here. I will be back here on Wednesday, same time. Now, I got to figure out how to get